Let's talk about Leave the World Behind, and I will be brutally honest with Rose. Rose tells her mother the parable of the drowning man who refused 2 boats and a helicopter. Rose was the only person who saw the oil tanker heading straight for her. She saw the deer who everybody dismissed. She saw the Thorne household and decided she was not going to wait to be saved. God helps those who help themselves. Rose was the only survivor. One of the lessons we can learn from it is to stop fighting over insignificant things and realize that all of us, regardless of race, color, or origin, can work together toward the same goal. Complete the video till the end so that you know all my feelings and my thoughts about it. Now allow me to provide you with a brief overview of the storyline.
I'm so sorry to bother you, that this is our house.
This is your house?
What's the story?
I fucking hate people.
That's Amanda. As we'll soon discover, she has a narrow-minded perspective on humanity. She and her family are currently on a vacation at a place called Leave the World Behind, which not only serves as the title of the movie, but is also the opening line of this stunning rental property they're staying at. The first scene should show the sun rising over Earth, and throughout the film, we'll notice how our characters gradually distance themselves from it, just like they distance themselves from their world. The color blue dominates both our world and the world inhabited by the Sandfords. They drive a blue car dressed in blue, and are often surrounded by blue lighting during their confrontations with various dangers. In this context, blue symbolizes security and represents the known world. However, as the film progresses, this sense of security gradually disappears as chaos takes over. Now, let me illustrate the journey of the Amanda family that was spoiled by a tanker. The tanker. The film is divided into 5 sections, each of which plays a role in the story. Let's start with the department, where the Sandford family settles in their home. They are supposed to have a holiday. At first, however, things take a turn when a huge oil tanker suddenly appears and crashes on the beach, disrupting their day. This incident triggers a chain of occurrences affecting the Sandford family. In this part of the film, I want to draw attention to the name of the carrier, which is the white lion. You may be curious about the importance of the lion symbol. It represents a connection to Mother Earth, which explains why the carrier collides on the shore. In addition, we know from the police officer that many of these beaches are located near the coast and have an impact on navigation systems. Rose. Let's talk about the scene where Rosie discovers a house and a shelter.
Picking up on what's going on out there.
On the top floor of the house, there's red lighting which represents the outside world, while the bottom floor has blue lighting indicating safety. Rose was able to watch her favorite series, Friends. However, I have a question for you. Why do you think the director chose to include the series Friends in the film? Let me explain my point. Friends was a top-rated series, but in the end, both the show and its crew failed to maintain their position. This may indicate that the world depicted in the show was as perfect and beautiful as Friends, but in the end, it collapsed, just as the show Friends did. I believe that's why the director added a mysterious touch to the film. I have a request, and I hope you can help me. It's really hard when you put all your time and effort into something you love and it doesn't work. So I was hoping you could help me. Just post my video. If you can subscribe to my channel, click like and leave a comment. It will help me publish the video and it will reach other people, and my dream will come true. Your support means a lot to me. Power outages. When our family returns to the rental, we discover that both the Wi-Fi and TVs are not working. It turns our vacation into a nightmare. Clay Sandford, an English and media college professor, informs his wife that he has been asked to write the foreword for a book written by one of his students. The book explores how media serves as both an escape from reality and a reflection of the world we live in. This line highlights the essence of the movie. It provides an escape from reality while also reflecting our society. The story truly begins with George and Ruth Scott, who own the property. Due to a blackout in the state and congested roads, they decide to spend the night. This decision doesn't sit well with Amanda Sandford, who's not pleased about their presence. Now, let's discuss the reasons why Amanda was hesitant to have them at home. Amanda's doubts.
I'm sorry. I don't feel comfortable staying in a house with...
Amanda at first had doubts about trusting George and Ruth. However, as time passed, she realized that she had misjudged them. If she hadn't admitted this misjudgment, tensions could have intensified. It makes me think that such misjudgments are what lead humanity to turn against each other. This story reminds us of the importance of friendship in the end. Roger Tanny. A distance from George's house, we catch a glimpse of Clay Drive as it passes by Tanny Farms. This place is named after Roger Tanny, the Chief Justice of the United States, who made a ruling stating that African Americans could not be recognized as citizens, and that the government had no authority to prohibit slavery. However, it's important to note that Ruth and George also have their biases. In fact, Ruth goes on to express her thoughts by saying,
"If the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people."
Ruth concept seems to have an understanding of the situation than they are revealing. As we watch the film, we gradually uncover that something unusual is happening in the country. There have been cyberattacks, peculiar animal behavior, and ominous flies that seem to foreshadow our doom. As the tension escalates, we come to realize that there might have been a 3-stage attack on the country. Interestingly, the movie itself is divided into 5 phases, each with its unique element contributing to the story. The Stranger Things series. When George comes across the Huxley's place in a state of disarray, he decides to head to the beach. To his surprise, he witnesses a plane crash after. Then another one in almost the same location. It appears that someone or something is intentionally directing these planes to land in an area. This reminds me of the incident with the oil tankers washing up along the coast later in the movie. Speaking of occurrences, there's a scene where a group of Teslas autonomously make their way onto the freeway and collide with each other, causing chaos and preventing anyone from leaving the city. Is all of this a series of accidents, or is there something more organized happening behind it? It is becoming apparent that the current situation is also affecting the wildlife. The deer seem to be gathering together, possibly to defend themselves or send out a warning signal. It would be interesting if they were the masterminds behind all of this, as no one ever suspects them. A radio broadcast has informed us that animals are being affected by the same phenomenon. Moreover, there seems to be a symbolic significance associated with deer that goes beyond what meets the eye. In the movie, there is a part called Noise, which talks about a very loud screaming sound that is so powerful that it can break the windows of houses. Nobody knows where this sound comes from, but Danny, a survivor from the movie, believes that he has an explanation. Later in the movie, when Amanda and Clayton's son Archie gets sick and starts losing his teeth, George remembers that his friend Danny, who was a contractor, might have some medication. According to Danny, this noise could be similar to what happened to the microwave attack on American diplomats in Cuba in 2016. It is possible that this force was harnessed by the enemy and used against the people. As Clay rushes into town, he hopes to gather any information he can about the situation. To his surprise, he witnesses a drone dropping off flyers written in an unfamiliar language, which turned out to be Arabic upon translation. The message on the flyer roughly states that they possess explosives and urges immediate attention. It also emphasizes the need for contemplation and validation of their claims. Clay's friend Danny in San Francisco had an encounter with flyers written in Korean or Mandarin, raising questions about why non-English flyers are being distributed in an English-speaking country during an invasion. George's conversation. I believe the movie provides us with a hint about what's happening. This hint comes from George's conversation about his friend, who is supposedly involved with the group in the film. He talks about someone discussing meeting up with the leaders who control the world. Later, when things start falling, it is revealed that George had a phone call with his friend where he casually mentioned it. There was no laughter. This hints that the existence of this cabal might actually be real. I think there are lines in the film included for a purpose, because they reflect reality. What we could be witnessing is the outcome of what happens to the world when those in power abandon their responsibilities. George's entire conversation draws inspiration from a quote by Alan Moore regarding who runs the world. Moore believed that conspiracy theories offer solace by creating an illusion of a society being in control and accepting the unsettling truth that humanity is alone and nobody truly holds authority. The 3 steps. This passage discusses an incident that may support a theory proposed by George. During a conversation with a friend who works in defense contracting, George was informed of a 3-step plan that could be used in an attempt to overthrow a government. The first step involves disabling communication and transportation systems, such as malfunctioning satellites and GPS, as well as disrupting various forms of transportation, such as electric cars blocking major city roads. The second step aims to spread misinformation and sow chaos, as exemplified by the flyers designed to scare and divide people. This could create a state of synchronized chaos. Finally, this leads to the stage of an eventual coup resulting in the collapse of the government. This can occur either through war or other means where the government essentially topples itself without requiring troops for intervention. At the end of the film, it is unclear whether the bombs that hit New York City were of domestic or foreign origin. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel. Peace.